Hannah Gadsby's extraordinary Nanette arrives in Edinburgh trailing plaudits from its Australian run. But it is, she announces, her swan song in quitting comedy. Done. Bored. Gadsby has lost patience with the illusions and deceptions stand-up entails. "I've made my story into a joke," she says, in a show that's passionately concerned with challenging the patriarchal, heteronormative stories our culture tells itself. There are jokes in Nanette, too, some good ones, initially. But they dry up, and something more confrontational, an angry repudiation of the consolations of comedy, takes their place. It begins with a primer in how stand-up works. "You set up tension, then you diffuse it," says Gadsby. SHE's experienced plenty of tension in her own life, growing up gay in a state, Tasmania, that decriminalized homosexuality only in 1997. The debate over that legislation was virulent, and Gadsby feels damaged by it still. But SHE's suppressed that in her comedy, she tells us, in lockstep with a wider culture that glosses over everyday gender violence. An art history graduate, she cites the veneration of Picasso, a child abuser, she argues, whose Cubist style was just putting a kaleidoscope filter on his dick. That's delivered with more bitterness than humor, as Gadsby writes off the entire history of Western art as a patriarchal con. A bit much perhaps, but balanced argument. Isn't Nanette's point its accuse, its 10 years of self-denial finally blowing its top. Its centerpiece comes when Gadsby addresses ongoing homophobia and the implication implicit in Australian discourse. She says that gays are a threat to children. "I'm a little bit furious," she says, "not joking now, not letting us off the hook." "Fuck you," she tells us, repeatedly, "deal with your own tension." It's an electrifying experience, and not a pleasant one. At points I bridled, not because Gadsby was challenging our complacency at, or complicity in, mainstream discourse on sexuality and gender, fair enough, but because she seemed to be blaming us for her frustration with comedy, too. The show can feel as hostile as the hostility she criticizes in others. But you can't deny Gadsby's right to be angry, which she asserts humanely and persuasively. And the moral righteousness is undeniably bracing. After seeing the show, I'm still wrestling with Gadsby's claims about her art form. Nanette abjures comedy, finally, in both form and content, but as a cry from the heart and as a theatrical experience, it's indelible.